I'll be your Huckleberry. Hey, everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat with me, as always, on
As
Night Yard.
always. Yep.
That's it. My guest and fellow convicted felon, ex-con, and
Right.
overall good guy. Turned his life around. Russ, how you been?
Been good, man. It's working and on side jobs and trying to take care of things.
Good. I did get the bandwidth fixed, Ben Turner. I got lucky. We were able to get a show up. We just busted out a show before this, and I didn't want to miss Night Yard. Listen, you know what? There was a video I was going to get up tonight, and I don't know if I won't be able to get it up on this one, but I will get it up on tomorrow's show. I'm going to do a show tomorrow, and I'll get it up. There's a great video done by one of our artists that does a song about a girl writing to people in prison. It's actually a great song. Franklin MC, good to see you, man. Martha says, looking good tonight, Russ.
Thanks.
You are still sober, right, Martha? No, I'm kidding.
Right.
I'm kidding. Just
Which one looks good? The one in the middle?
Right, happens. Hey, what's up? Good to see you. Hey, everyone.
And everybody.
Valerie says, I love Night Yard. Well, this is where we talk about all things convict. And this week we saw the end of timeouts. So I was meaning to ask you about this. In the feds, when Thanksgiving rolls around, right? They have always said that if you don't get shipped, before Thanksgiving, that you're probably not getting shipped until after New Year's. Now, that said, I will also tell you that I once got shipped 2 days before Christmas. So
right.
In the feds, I heard that my whole career, and then they just happened to ship me. But they also did say they were picking up somebody, and they just thought they would make a trip. They were picking up a high profile or somebody that was basically causing so much trouble they had to get them out of there, which is why I got shipped. In the state joint, are they moving people from county jails to prison this time of year?
All the time, every day.
Never slows down. Okay.
Yeah, it never slows down.
Okay,
and
good.
They're getting overtime. They're moving them.
Because he's
high level security. So
he is. He is absolutely high level security. And I got a very interesting document sent to me, and I'm going to send it over to you. I didn't get it until really late. It was right before we went live. It had to do with the fact that I've been sick and I haven't been looking at all of my stuff. But his custody level was changed. If you look him up in this, he was a custody level 3 for about 3 weeks. I've been looking him up, and he's been custody level 3. His custody level just went to 4.
Then he's red jumpsuit.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said to the gentleman that sent it to me. I said, "Oh boy, does that open all kinds of fun yards?"
Oh yeah, they go from blue to trustee. Yellow is like medium level. Beige was the lowest level. Then you go to red. And in county, in Orange County, they had bands.
Red is everywhere, even in the feds. No matter where you go, red's never good. Like you never see somebody in red that you don't go, oh no.
Yeah, lifers are red. Lifers are red. Anybody on a level 4 coming out of the hole is red. The death row inmates,
when I got arrested in the bank robberies, right? I had been to this county jail. I can't tell you how many times because I was a thief. So I'd get picked up for boosting or whatever, and you shut up, you don't say anything, and you're out in like 6 hours or 8 hours or whatever, right? You post bonds, you do what you do. But I was always going in and out of there. But the first time I went in and had a federal charge, they no joke put the people who have anything but a felony in stripes. They look like the Monopoly guy, right? And if you've got a felony and it's a state felony, you got black pants and an orange top.
Right.
And if you're a fed, you're in all gray. And people look at you like, like you blew up a building or something. Like they're freaked out. Captain, First night yard. Well, welcome to Night Yard. Here's how it works, people. If there's something you always wanted to know about prison, right? You put the word question, right? Make sure that, you heighten the fact that you're not talking to somebody else, you're talking to us, and throw a question up there and we will answer anything you wanted to know about the joint. And Differences. I got a couple of emails from people that wanted to know basically the difference between our prison system and others. And I said, I have no perspective on this. I don't know what other prison systems are like. The only one that I can comment on is the one in the US, but
I don't know. I almost know what a Mexican jail looked like, but that was a long time ago.
I went to one.
Luckily, I had money in my stock. So,
well, that's you know what I got. I beat someone up in. Tijuana, and I got picked up by the cops. The guy hit me first, but I beat him up. Yeah. And I got picked up by the cops. We drove in circles for like 2 hours because I'm just stupid, and I'm looking at all the same things going around in circles. And I look at him. I'm sandwiched in between two Mexican dudes in the middle, and I'm the biggest guy, and I'm sandwiched in between these two dudes. And I said to him, "What are we doing?" He goes, "He's waiting for you to offer him a bribe." I was right. Like, hey man, take me to an ATM machine. He pulled right over like I was just clueless. And then I called my friend. I said, hey, I bribed my way out of it. He's like, how much did you give him? I said, 300. It was the most the machine would give me. He's like, 300? He's like, dude, that's what they make in a month. He's like, yeah. Jolt? Yeah, he's like, you're an idiot.
It cost me 25.
Question, do those colors carry around all prisons? Red has been consistently the entire time I've done time. Red has meant you're in trouble. It's the highest custody level, usually the shoe, and it's usually you're not getting clothing, you're getting the jumpsuit. And that has been me everywhere I've ever been. I don't know about the rest of the colors.
I know Texas and Florida state systems, they both wear white, general pop. And then whenever you get, like higher or murderers or whatever, it's red.
In the feds, the lowest custody levels are green. They wear green. And then the middies and the high custody levels, we wear khakis. In fact, we wear what the Navy wears when they're not on duty. It's just khaki pants and a khaki shirt, and it's actually Navy stuff. It comes right out of our factory. So we wear Navy off-duty stuff. We look like Goose and Maverick did. Yeah, when they were training, that's what we look like.
That's what Indiana has the same thing. They're all khaki.
Yeah. But once you screw up, you're wearing red.
Yep.
So I spent most of the time in red, sadly.
Yep. Me too.
Ben Turner says, question, in prisons, do they have boots? Heard you use the term dressed and laced, meaning boots. That's figurative. No, it's not at all. The term is suited and booted, and you wear boots. You get issued boots when you go to prison. You do not get issued shoes. Does that not blow your hair back?
This is not trying to be racist, but we used to call them jack flaps. Remember those Bruce Lees?
Yeah, Bruce Lees. That's what everybody would call them. But in the feds, you don't get Bruce Lees unless you have a note from the doctor.
Oh yeah.
You don't get the Bob Barker Chucks, right?
No,
that's not happening. What you get is boots. You come in and you are issued a pair of black boots. So everybody walking the yard, unless they bought their shoes themselves, are wearing black boots. Now, when you get down to the really low custody levels, guys walk around in shower shoes.
Yep.
I'm not kidding you. But at the higher custody levels, if they catch you in shower shoes without somebody guarding you, it's the end of your stay. They're gonna get you moved on down the road.
You could buy clothes off in canteen in the state, but if you couldn't, you could go outside on the yard with 2 pair of boxers on. You had to have 2. Right.
Yep.
But that was it.
That's the same way in the feds. You can wear boxers out as long as you got 2 pair on. Same way in the feds. Question. Do you know where Danny Masterson is headed? And do you know anyone there? Well, if anyone were to know anyone there, it would be Russ.
Yeah.
Because I all my time was done in the federal system. Well, the vast majority of my time was done in the federal system. I only did one really short state rip. We're not sure where he's going yet because he's got to go through. No. He's going to have to go through the fish tank and get processed out. Hello, Mindy. He has to get processed out. Once he goes through that process and he sees, so in the state joint, same like the Fed, right? You got to go see the doctor. You got to go see the psych. You got to do all that in intake.
I'm sorry, what?
So when you go to the fish tank in the state, when you first get there, you got to go see psych. You got to go see medical. You got to go through.
Yep. You got to go through all that process. They test you. They, in schooling, if you all that. That
And that's where
defines
they
where you
determine
go.
where they're going to put you and
Right,
everything else.
right. Because if you want to go with education and you don't have any, they'll send you someplace like that. If you're a lower level, level 3, level 4, they don't care.
You ain't got an option.
Nope.
There's not a lot of picking and choosing. Do you guys have
No.
programs? No, none,
Uh-uh.
nothing. Question: my
Yep.
family member has been down since '81 for killing a baby. He tells the board
Wow.
that nobody cares, even though everybody there knows what he did. Is he just bald-faced lying? And if so, why? Where is this guy doing time?
Yeah.
I'd be
What
really
state?
curious to know. Yeah, what state is he doing time in? Because
That has a lot
uh,
to do with it.
is he bald-faced lying? Yeah, I mean that would be my gut.
Yeah.
That would be my gut. I've never been anywhere where if someone knew somebody killed a baby that he was allowed to walk the yard. Have you ever seen
Yeah.
that anywhere?
No.
That's I've never seen that like that. Those people. I mean, they got to put him somewhere, but he could be doing solitary confinement for his entire life. I mean, that's a possibility too.
Right.
But I'd be curious to know where that is.
Yeah. What state is he in? And I can tell you exactly. OSP.
Question: I heard from someone in an Arizona prison years ago that the bug pest infestation was horrific. Did you experience similar or did it vary? Thank you, guys. You don't know me, do you? Because I told so many people years ago about the bug infestation. I did time in Arizona, in Phoenix, and in the shoe in Phoenix, they had such a problem with guys that would hollow out the mortar so that you could pass stuff from one cell to another. Just chip away the mortar on one big cinder block, and you could pass stuff through. Well, this happened so much, and then you cover it with toothpaste. Once they got onto it, they came in and just welded 2 pieces of steel together with lag bolts and just welded the lag bolts, right? But what it did was it gave cockroaches a place to hide.
Right.
And the lights would go off in that shoe and 5 billion bugs would come out of the wall. It was like a horror movie. And I got in there like a dumbass, right? I go to the shoe for hitting the cop, so I'm not popular anyway, right? And I go back there and I said to the cop, he's walking by, I go, "Hey boss." He goes, "What's up?" I go, "Can you turn the light off?" He goes, "You want the light off?" And I go, "Yeah." You know what I mean? It's like 11 o'clock at night. He goes, "All right, brother." Flip the light off. I go lay down like an idiot. And it took about 1 second. I was like, "Holy hell, what the hell?" I swear to you, I felt something. And they were all over you, man. Like when I hopped out of that bed, I'll bet you there were 40 of them on me. And when the light came
Wow.
on, so I started catching these things and putting them into shampoo bottles. And when every Wednesday, the whole crew has to walk through. So the head of food has to go through, so you complain to them. Head of education, head of everything goes through the shoe. And the warden's with him. And I said to the warden, I got the thing down here. And I said, "Hey, I got my wife, who's an attorney, wrote to you about the bug problem. My family wrote." He goes, "We don't have a bug problem." And I went, "Huh?" Pulled up the shampoo bottle, and it's just jacked. I go, "Bro, if I could catch these, how many do you think are in here?" You know what I
Right.
mean? But they did nothing about it. Absolutely nothing about it. It
Ours
was
was scorpions.
yeah, we had those too.
Scorpions and Davy rattlesnake.
Did you guys fight them? The
No,
scorpions?
no, no, no. But
No.
guys would try to keep them
Yeah.
as pets. I'm like, you're stupid.
Yeah, you're dumb as
You're
a
going to get
brick.
hurt.
You're
Yeah,
dumb
you're
as a
going to get.
brick. This
Yep.
ends with you getting stung. Like, how do you not see
Yep.
that coming? Well,
Stung
it
or
was
bit.
big. It was really big in Phoenix. Guys would catch those and they would gamble on it. They would have fights with them. And
Right.
yeah, I had a friend that had one that was like 5 times as big as anything you've ever seen. It was
Wow.
honestly, it was like Andre the Giant of scorpions. It won for a really long time until this small one just came out and kind of snipped it in half. If Masterson gains federal charges for the guns, will he find it more comfortable placement, and might these Fed charges push to a more cozy situation? Yeah, absolutely. The gun charges, but he's going to have to bury people, right? He's going to have to send people to prison. It's not just saying, "Hey, I'll tell you." He's going to have to send people to prison. Now, if there are other people involved, and he's willing to testify, because if he just goes in there as a regular inmate, he's going to get shipped off to a level 4 yard. He's going to be at the same kind of place that Larry Nassar's at. And Larry Nassar gets beat on about once a week. So I don't think he'd do softer time unless he cut a deal. Now, if he cuts a deal and he throws a bunch of people under the bus and maybe even the church, like I said, he could probably get about 10 years in Butner, and Butner's soft. It is. It's soft. People still get hit there, though, because they're going to send, like, let's say, I've said this 100 times as an example, but let's say I'm a gang leader for a white supremacist gang, and I get a beef with somebody else, and he wants to take over the yard. The two of us go at it, and I lose. Guess what? I'm done. Like, there's nowhere else I can go. So I cut a deal right then and there, and I go, tell you what I'll do. I'll rat on everybody here, right? I'll tell you everything that's going on, where the dope's coming from, who's bringing it in, what cards are dirty. But I want to get sent to the cushiest place in the world. And then he'll end up at the same place as somebody like Danny. That doesn't make that guy no longer dangerous. He's been a killer his entire life, right? He's going to get there and be like, Danny Masterson, right? This dude's going to pay me or I'm going to kill him. Stone cold killers. You can't separate it all together. So the guy that's saying he tells people that he killed a baby, everybody knows and nobody cares. I'm not buying it. I'm just not. I'm not. I mean, I believe what you're telling me. I don't believe that takes place in there. I think he's probably lying.
I saw something.
Please.
I'm sorry. I saw something you said the other day. Somebody asked. I think it was you were talking to somebody about if the feds throw those charges on him, will they come get him and make the feds do the Fed time first? I've seen it both ways. I've seen it to where if somebody's had a sentence, they waited and then they got transferred to the feds after they got done doing their sentence. But that was small time. Yeah, I was on a yard with a couple guys like that.
But you know what? My perspective would be a whole lot different too, though, because what I always saw was, 20 guys that just showed up and said, I was doing time in the state. Everything was groovy. Like, I met people like that every day. I was doing state time. I had a hustle. And all of a sudden they came and said, feds want you. You're doing the Fed time first.
I think that they were on
violation. About it.
Yeah, I think they were just on violations. I think they were on violations. So that's why they were just finishing up and then they'll go.
Checks out. It's exactly right. Yep. If it is a violation, if they're cleaning up, that would do it. My glasses are very smart looking. Yeah, my glasses are. I mean, not so much. Jane Severin, first night yard. Go ahead.
There's a good question. LBC. Why not just segregate prisons by race if it's a constant problem?
You know what? It's something that you hear people. This gets brought up a lot. And the problem with it is the reason that they don't want to do it. Sorry, I'm way behind. The reason that they don't want to do it is because 80% of the people that are going in there are then going to get back out, right? And if you segregate people completely, what you do is you create a level of hate that, that really causes problems when these people get back out, right? Very often you'll find in the situation that they kind of run now, these guys sort of become Nazis for the stay. You know what I mean? Like they'll tip up or they'll walk a very specific line, but the second they walk out, they usually leave that crap behind. And the reason is because you're exposed to other people living their lives and being respectful of you, right? Because in all honesty, as crazy as this sounds, we live super harmoniously inside, right? I mean, and I did a lot of time. I don't remember black and white fights. They don't happen. They really don't. I mean, the blacks and the whites, I was on one stupid yard where a little bit of a race riot broke out. But it was because the people that ran that yard, meaning the convicts, were just freaking stupid. But every other place I had ever been, there was no dissension at all. When you walk by each other, it's, hey, how you doing? Let's open a door. They just don't break bread and hang out. But the respect level is insane. And I think it's probably healthier that they kind of see that. I don't know. Maybe I'm nuts. A lot of people think it would be a better idea. Maybe it's because if that were the case, I'd have a needle in my arm right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe I'm biased because had there not been a black dude on the yard I was at, I probably would have a needle in my arm. As we are speaking, I'd probably be banging dope. How do you qualify to become how do you qualify to become a trustee? It's really funny you say that because it depends on where you are, doesn't it? because there are some places that you got to lick a mean boot.
Yep. Yeah, it depends on your charge. If it's a low level, if you go in there with like a driving unsuspended or a petty theft or something like that, they'll offer you the trustee, or it's what you say. Somebody's really got to have their lips wrapped around something to get there.
When I went into the first time I went into the county jail as a federal inmate, I'm in there 8 minutes, and the guy walks in and goes, "How would you like a job as the porter in the intake unit?" And I go, "Why would I want that gig?" And he goes, "Because your door will never lock. You're going to be here for at least 14 months. It's going to be as close to living as you can get." And I was like,
Right.
"Yeah, I'm your guy. I'm your guy." And I mean, I used cordless phones. I mean, I got away with a bunch of crap in that place. A bunch. Charlie, a bunch. Charlie Blue, what kind of intake's the place to be. You got guys doing weekends. You got guys doing weekends. So I was there 14 months. There was one guy for 6 months that had to do weekends every single weekend. And I would say to him, "You're going to go see my friend Jack, right? Go see Jack. He's got a clavo. You're going to have to sit on it for about 3 hours, and we'll take care of you."
Right.
And he keeps it and bring it in every week. Boy, when that dude finished his program, I wanted to cry. I was like, "That's such a violation. You can't catch one stinking lousy violation for a wood."
Right.
I mean, okay, go just drop one hot pee test. You buy me 4 more weeks of you doing this, 5 more weeks. But I was pretty sad when he stopped.
I can see that. I can see you nodded off over there at the intake desk. What size clothes you wear?
when I say that I did dope through the whole thing, dude, I did dope through the whole thing. Like I really did. I managed to keep that ridiculous, stupid lifestyle until I didn't,
Wow. What kind of yard?
Question. This is real, sadly. I have a distant cousin. I'm waiting for the rest of it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the rest of it, but I thought we'd get it preloaded so that
so we can just go right into it.
Yeah, right.
Nat B. Somebody got charged for child porn. Nat B.
Oh, yeah. You know what? And I appreciate that, because if she spells it the right way, we're probably in deep trouble.
Right.
Yeah. No, anybody that has been, look, that would never happen in the feds. Okay. So, and this is absolutely a fact, Nat B. Okay. Anybody charged with looking at images that they shouldn't look at on a computer, right? Those people cannot go to a minimum security. Minimum security would be a camp, right? And they are not camp eligible. In the feds, you can never be on a camp if that's what your crimes are. They are not camp eligible. So they get sent to what's called the Federal Correction Institution, and they are tortured. I promise you. The yards that they're on, they're treated horrendously, and a different kind of horrendously, right? They're not going to get stabbed every day. It's not going to be like that. They're just going to get beat on. Like the last yard I was on, they were there, and you'd walk up when they're on the phone and go like this and just hang it up. Go, get out of here. I'm using the phone. Like that's just how they're treated with everything. If the guy's if he's online for the microwave, you walk up, you're like, move it. Trust me, you're not microwaving something before me, right? Get out of the day room. They're not allowed to watch TV. They have to eat standing up. I'm not kidding you when I say, like on toilet paper day, every cell gets 4 rolls of toilet paper. The first thing guys do is go in and take 3 of them, right? Make it last, brother. Make it last.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. A cousin who had a Star of David over his heart and a swastika on his back. How long would that dude last in California prison? Is he quick on his feet? Right? How fast is this cat on his feet? Because I want to tell you something. Just a quick one. I was in Phoenix. I watched a guy come on the yard that had the Star of David on his shoulder, about that big. And the second he walked on, I was like, oh, this dude is meat. And they walked right up to him. The guy was like, dude, you got the Star of David on your arm. You Jewish? And he's like, no, I'm a Freemason. And I mean, it was the Jedi mind trick. I watched this dude do the Jedi mind trick to 4 dumb white dudes. And the guy's like, man, that ain't no Freemason stuff. He's like, the hell it isn't. I'm not Jewish. And he tells him his last name. He's like, that's not a Jewish last name. He's like, I'm a Freemason. He's like, I'm a 4th degree. And So I walked up. I figured I'll give this dude a hand because he looked like he was having a bad time, right? So I walked up. I'm like, 4th degree Mason? He's like, yeah. I'm like, let me see the symbol, the hand symbol for a 4th degree Mason. And he throws something up. I'm like, dude's legit. Dude's legit. You know what I mean? I always had a thing for Jewish. I feel so bad for Jews in prison, dude. I helped everyone I could. I'm like, no, he threw that up.
Well,
I'm like, he's legit.
one of the founding members of that one
Code?
high club,
Yeah, dude.
had the Star of David on him. So,
Yeah, no,
and he was Jewish.
he needs to be quick on his feet, is what he needs to
Yeah.
be. Because he's
Yeah.
right. There was a guy who has a very, very Jewish last name who was very highly placed in a very, very white organization. But if you're quick on your feet, if you're not, yeah, it's going to be a problem. And that's a lot in prison too, for real. Like there are guys that fall through the cracks. I watched a dude that did time with us for 9 months. Slick as hell, man. Paperwork came in and everything. And he did 9 months with us. We got his paperwork from the street. We reviewed it. It was completely legit. Everything was in the right place. You know what I mean? We had no reason to doubt this dude. And about 9 months into living on the yard, somebody comes on the yard and came walking right. I was the rep, which is nothing, but I was the rep in the unit, which means I'm the guy that reports to the shot caller. But he walks into my room and he's like, "You're the rep?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "That dude ain't no good." And I'm like, "He's a rat." He's like, "Worse." I'm like, "There's no way." He's like, "I can get a newspaper article." I said, "How fast can you get it here? Because if you tell these boys that, you got 72 hours to get it here." And he's like, "I can get it here." Yeah, what he did was he waited until it was here. It got there and he walked in and dropped it on the dude's desk. But he had hurt kids, and
Right.
But he managed. We played poker with him. I kicked it with the dude. He was actually one of my workout partners. Kind of makes you sick. But he didn't stick around long after that though. When did Danny Masterson leave? How many days has it been? He has not left, but
Right.
he is eligible to leave any moment. And usually it's within about 14 days, 7 to 14 days. So, we're looking at he's out of timeouts. I promise you. I know they're behind too, but there's nothing else in the court system that is slowing this up. Now we're just waiting on the California prison system to transfer him.
Yeah, his attorneys can't stall it any longer. He'll be woke up about 3:30 in the morning, and he'll go through the process, get on the Grey Goose, and have a good time.
Yeah. Can I get a 5x5?
5x5.
Not from you, right? Yeah, you know what? He's thank you so much. Yeah, I truthfully do believe he's in trouble. I don't think this is going to be an easy sentence for him. And I don't think I personally think he's going to drop the body. I'm sorry, but that's what I believe.
Like I said, I've got buddies that are still down, and I talk to frequently. They call me, and the word is already out. So anywhere he goes, he's pretty much.
Word is already out, and that is absolutely a fact. How many people like us do you think have made calls?
Yeah, it's not going to be very pretty. Whoever he's handcuffed to, is probably going to. It's probably good.
People, you do not get transported onto that vehicle without being handcuffed to another guy. And the dude that gets handcuffed to him ain't going to be happy about being handcuffed to him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's going to start real quick on this trip. He is not going to be happy.
Nope. Because he's going to get off the bus and grab the first trash can lady can and block everybody that's trying to get him.
Have you kept in contact with any friends from the joint, Russ?
Yeah, I still got 4 or 5 people that I ran with, and plus I still got uncles that are doing things, and they're making a killing out there in California.
Angie, I think you're the only one that doesn't have a feed. Everybody else seems to have one. I'm sorry. I see you though. I do see you. So here's my answer. Q, the person that assisted me in my sobriety, I am in constant contact with.
Right on.
Always will be. Other than that, I am not in contact with anybody that is still in. I have a friend that I was in the federal prison system with, and we used to joke when we were playing cards. He said to me, "You are the only dude I have met in prison I would kick it with on the street." He's like, "I swear to you, I have not met one other person in the feds I would kick it with on the street." And I said to him, Yeah, I would kick it with you on the street. And then he got out. And the two of us, we talk a lot. We spend a lot of, we're very close friends. I'll probably have him on here at some time because he saw a bunch of the cool stories you've already heard. He was standing there when they happened. And at the
That's
time,
like
he was visible from space, dude. This dude was like, he was the biggest dude you ever saw. And now he is like, I'll bet you he lost 200 pounds. I mean, he lost a full human. Are you
I
allowed
can
to
vote out
vote as
here.
an ex-convict? Yes, I am.
As long as you're not on probation or parole.
Yeah, correct. Once I was off federal paper, I was allowed to vote in the United States. Now,
Yes.
I'll tell you what, I voted even before I was off paper because I figured if everyone else was going to be allowed to, I was going to do it too. Sorry, I registered and I voted. And if they'd said anything, I would have said, "What? You sent me a damn form in the mail." Right? I got out of prison.
Right.
I filled out all the paperwork, and you sent me a form in the mail. I assumed I was allowed.
Right.
Right? Why would you let it go through?
That's one of that. Go ahead.
Question. How hard is it to drop the body incarcerated? One imagine other inmates would want to
Like that.
It is the easiest thing in the entire world that if you want to do it, not only can you do it, but the cat sitting there will go like this. I promise you, not do a damn thing.
Right.
I promise you they won't. I watched a guy at Lewisburg hang himself, right? Off of the vent above his doors. And these vents above the doors have holes in them that are so big that you could stick your fingers in them to do pull-ups. They're big, fat ass holes. It was made like it in the 1930s. And guys build handles and do stuff. But this dude built a little noose out of a sheet. And he did this at like high noon. He stepped off the desk and he's got a cellmate in there. His cellmate's on the top rack reading a book. And I'm looking through the window at his cellmate while he's hanging. And the cellmate's looking at me like this. Like, I ain't doing a thing. I don't care. I don't like listening to this dude. Like, that was the look on his face. Like, I'm not doing anything. And then the dude fell. It broke and he hit the ground. Yeah. And then, but he when I left, that guy was still alive. He apparently got second thoughts. It's easy as hell. If you want to be gone, you're gone. You'll go in the shower with your chair. You'll turn the water on. You'll open up the veins and sit in there. They'll give you 15 minutes before anybody would ever walk in. It would be really, really easy. If you want to be there in the morning, you won't be there in the morning.
Jump off the tier.
You hop. I've seen all of any way you could think of offing yourself in prison. But I bet both of us have seen. Yep. People get real creative.
Playing softball, one guy took a bat and killed another dude right there on the yard.
No, I've seen that too. I saw on the way to a softball, the guy set the bag down like he was going through it, stood up, and just T-boned the dude in the head. And we lost the softball for the entire season. People were
right.
If I live to be 10,000, I will remember my inmate number.
Oh yeah, I remember mine too. Sadly.
Yeah. Hold on, DB.
Well, how many numbers? How many numbers was yours? Or did you have a letter or
5 numbers?
Okay.
Yeah, just 5 numbers. It didn't hurt that literally almost every one of mine was 4.
Oh, really?
For real. Yeah.
Wow.
My digits, every digit was a 4 except one, which was a 0. So I had a very, very easy number. Yeah.
And then in the state, we had letters before our numbers, but I had 5 numbers and then you had a letter. I was an E number, which that puts me back there.
In the state we had letters too.
Yeah.
In the state we had letters too. Yeah. I was L9352293.
Oh,
you'll never forget that. They ask you to bark it out every single place you go.
Right.
And you know what? I was one of the last dudes to go through there with that system. So while I was in prison, the new fish that were coming in were getting like 9 zeros on their name. I'm not kidding you, like 9 zeros, right? Because I was 9-3. So they knew they were about to get to run out of numbers. So instead of just going 1, they just added like 4 digits to it. So it's like 1000. It goes all the way down. And I would look at that and think, oh boy, you got to spit out all those digits.
Right.
We got it easy. And my friend who comes on here all the time, the guy that hurt my elbow, Jeffrey, he had a 2-2. I had a 9-3. That boy, like he had a old back number.
Right.
A deuce number. Yeah.
Now these guys have 2 letters and
Yeah,
numbers.
they're doing two.
State.
Callie's doing 2 letters. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know something? She said it would be cool if you had an ex female inmate.
I
Did you
know a
mean like
bunch
for
of
an
them.
extended period of time? Because that. Oh, you mean for the show? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say,
You
can't
don't
see.
want to.
I
Yeah,
could
you don't
rope
want
you
to talk
in.
to any of these girls. Yeah, you don't want to talk to any of these girls anymore.
I thought that you were inside, that you can't be in contact with another felon. I thought that if you were no. You can inside, you can have all the contact you want with felons on the street. It's when you get on the street that you can't be in contact with another felon. As an
Right.
inmate, you can write letters to felons, but they read everything you write, every single word going in and out. And in the feds, not only are they reading every word, but they're taking a picture of it, right?
Mhm.
And now, depending on what yard you're at, they keep the hard copy, and you just get a video, a photocopy, because too many
Right.
people were dunking the letters and drugs. Yeah.
Yep.
No,
I
you
know
absolutely can write to felons.
the first thing a police officer says to you in California now is, "Are you on probation?" That's it, or parole, and then you go from there in your conversation. If you say yes, he's got every right to do whatever he wants to you. But if you
Yeah,
say no, there's nothing he can do. I know that. I went through that.
I think Lady J, if nobody else, gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that?
Take
This
me.
is the
Yep.
takeaway. This is what we
Yep.
want the takeaway to be. I'm not even
Yep.
playing with you. That's the takeaway. I have a question. My ex-husband is a corrections officer. As an ex-con, would you ever on the outside come up to one of the CO wives on the outside at a mall? An ex-con came up and talked to me.
Did he know?
How bad did he piss me off? I
Was
can
he
think of one guy in
cool?
particular. I'd kind of like to meet his girl.
You're right.
I can think of one cop, the one that I hit on the way to the SMU. I'd like to meet his girlfriend. I'm
Okay.
kidding. I would never do that. That is so low budget and out of control. No, I would never do that.
No.
In fact, I'll tell you a funny story. I was with my ex-wife, and we were at a restaurant, and there were a bunch of people there because it was a night that they were having a walk where everybody in town goes to each restaurant, so you run into everybody you know, and so the conversation jumped the curb, so to speak, and somebody turned around, and I looked, and I'm looking directly into the eyes of a guy I know, a corrections officer that I know from doing time, and he's looking at me. I know who he is. He knows who I am, and he's telling a story about beating the crap out of an inmate.
Really?
So yeah, he's telling the story about beating and they're getting a good laugh. And I'm sure the inmate. I didn't hear the beginning of the story, but like I said, it jumped the curb when the conversation started going like this. I turned around and I'm looking at the dude, and in a split second, there was this moment of, I'm not going to tell anyone I know who you are if you don't tell anybody that you know who I am, kind of thing. And I just sort of gave him a nod, and he gave me one. And I'm sure right after I left, he was like, that dude's a convict. But while I was there, he was nice. But no, I would never, ever, 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 ever dream of doing that. Did your husband lose his mind? Oh,
yeah.
I bet he was really
She
happy.
answered. She answered over here too.
What did she say?
You'll see it in the comments. The ex-con waited for him to walk away, and then he came up to me and said, "Hey, you're blank, old lady. You need to read it."
Yeah, I'm
Told
reading.
her, yeah.
He smiled and winked at me and my daughters. Oh, here, I'm leaving this one up because I want to answer it. So hold on, let me leave that one up there. Ex-con waited for him to walk away, and then he came up to me and said, "Hey, you're lady, your old man is a good dude." Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's messed up. So here we go. Don't they do drug tests inside? You betcha.
Yeah.
How many pass their drug test if it's so prevalent? Okay, Nappy. So when I was in Victorville, The first time I went in for a drug test, the cop said to me, are you going to pass this? I said, no, sir. And he goes, what are you going to fail for? I said, heroin and cocaine and maybe speed. And he goes, but you're not smoking that K too. I said, no. He goes, sign the paper. I'll give you a freebie. I won't get you for
cool.
this. Yeah, very cool, right? The next time, same thing. The next time, same thing. And they don't want to report to Washington that 80% of the prison is on dope.
Yeah.
So they will, the cops used to come up and say to me, Rock, go get 25 white guys that can take a leak, right? Or go get four black guys that can take a leak, because the ones that I had to piss test, they're all going to fail. So I need four black guys that can pass. And you had these three or four white guys that didn't do anything wrong that were pissing constantly. You know what I mean? And they would go in and piss in a cup for someone else. There were so many ways to get around it because the prison doesn't want to look bad. And if they're catching everybody on the yard stoned, what they're saying is my prison's a sieve and you can get drugs in here easy as hell. And they don't want that. So they do everything within their power to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Did you see this question from, I was just going to say, that one right there.
That's a really good question. Tell me about the state. What would you say in the state?
In the state, I think it was almost every day because certain things happen and you have to take care of, but they were never out in the open. They were always, taken care of privately. Yep. So, but it was peaceful,
Yep.
But you did have to take care of business.
That's exactly what I would have said. I mean, word for word. There is violence every single friggin' day. Someone's getting beat up, but you ain't seeing it. But when it does break off, when the violence is now in the day room or the violence is in the chow hall or whatever, it gets real scary real quick, right? Yep. Because just when crap breaks off, unpredictable things happen. Like you'll see a fight going off over here and you'll be like, oh, damn. And the next thing you know, two guys have been waiting to hit a dude all day long or all week long, make their move. And just things get really crazy. And so I always told people prison was boredom, just nonstop boredom for hours and days on end, and then terror for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then back to boredom. And the problem is that waiting on that terror drives you insane. It really does. Like you don't know when it's going to happen, and it'll drive you nuts.
Yep.
What's the smoothest way you ever saw some contraband snuck into prison? That's a great question. That's a great question. And I got a good answer. So there's a couple of really good ones that I saw. So Suboxone is a strip, right? And what would happen is I get a magazine into the prison, right? And I cut the bottom off the magazine. And it's got the printing label. That's printed directly onto the magazine. It's not a sticker, right? Okay. So I write a letter to my girl home. And I write all of those digits, right, in the letter. She's going to take those digits and she's going to bring them to my friend, and he's going to print those things out onto a magazine that he buys. Now, magazines don't have those things at the bottom, right? If you get a magazine sent to your house, it's got a sticker on it.
Right.
But if you go to stores, you got to keep going. But you get a Barnes and Nobles, you get to one of them, and they run all of the magazines that didn't get a subscription on it, get sold dirt cheap. And there's a blank spot on the damn thing. So they would go in with that and they would print onto that. So it looked just like it was coming from Sports Illustrated or like it was coming from whoever, Road and Track. And then on the inside of that, they would put the strips inside of the, like the deodorant stuff, the perfume stuff. So you pull that thing open when you get it and all the strips will come falling out. And it was consistent as hell for so long. We got so much dope in that way. And then what always happens, right? Some rat that wanted to buy dope, and some dope dealer told him, no, you're not getting Suboxone on credit or whatever. He went up to the cops and said, I know how to get stuff in. And the next magazine that came in, they hit the guy, the guy that was catching got busted, and that was the end of the hustle. That was the best way I ever saw it come in from the street mail.
Right.
But I saw so many slick ass ways, man.
Oh yeah. The conjugal visits.
Conjugal visits. Look, conjugal visits is just a duffel bag. That's a
Yeah.
lay down of dope. I
Yep.
mean, that doesn't seem fair to me. I always
Uh-huh.
almost felt bad for the prison. You know what I mean? I'm not even being funny. It's like, at least without conjugal visits, you had to get creative. I've seen guys use drones. I've seen people use wrist rockets where they would get a lead ball of steel shot, pack dope all over the outside of it, tie it in a balloon, and just start launching them into the yard at night. Tied up black balloons. The 5 a.m. morning crew would go out and rake and pull all this stuff in. That used to happen here in this city, because when you drive by Wilmot Road, you don't have to slow down or get out of your car. You just got to go. I mean, the fence is right on the roadside, so a lot of dope came in that way.
I was never.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was on a level 1 yard one time in processing. When they take us to Chino, they would put us on, a detention yard to wait to go on to your prison. And that was right by the freeway. And there's guys there getting tennis balls or handballs. In potato guns, they'd fire them off the freeway. And there'd be 30 of them out there in the morning.
Right the side of the tennis ball.
Yep.
There are no conjugal visits in the feds. There are conjugal visits in some state joints. There are no conjugal visits in the feds at all.
I think they took them away, actually.
How about this one? We were in Indiana at the old Terre Haute yard in Indiana, and we were making stuff in the pottery part of the facility. So you make this beautiful pottery statue, and you bring it into the guy that runs the place, and you say, I want to mail this home to the wife. I did this. It's going to be a gift, blah, blah, blah. And you package the thing up and you ship it to him, right? And about 2 weeks later, the guy calls you into the office and he says, apparently your wife's no longer at that address, dude. I'm not trying to bum you out, but there's nobody there. So return to sender. What happens is that package gets there. They razor the bottom of that package. They take that thing out, right? They cut the bottom off of it. They put the dope in it, pack the thing completely up in that statue. They put it back together, paint it, do everything they got to do, and they ship it back. And we'd go in the office and he'd be like, nope. And then right then and there on the spot, you go, I got another address I want to send it to. We don't even have to take it out of the box. There's never been a federal employee on planet Earth that wasn't the laziest piece of crap on anywhere. And they would go, no, we're not doing that. Just take it and get it out of here. What year was this? 2009, 2010, right in there. That was pretty slick. And then I saw the other gold standard is you go through visiting. When you go into visiting, you take a candy bar, right?
Yep.
You carefully open it up because you're going to glue it back together. So you carefully open it up and you bring the candy bar out. You take a razor blade and you cut the rectangular hole in the top. Now you remove the whole top out, right? You hollow out the inside of the candy bar and you pack it with dope, right? In balloons. And you double bag the balloons because if they stay in the stomach, a double bag ain't going to break. You can crap it out. So they double bag the balloons and this person goes in. Now they put the top back on and they hit it with a blowtorch. All the chocolate melts. They stick it in the freezer and it freezes back together. They stick it in there and they glue it. Now, when they go in, it's in their sleeve. You go into all the candy machines and you do all your stuff. And when you reach down inside the machine, you slide the candy bar out, right? They bring it all up to the cops. They leave it all on a plate in front of him. And he looks through, moves it around and goes, you can take that over to the table. Now the dope's there. Now your guy just needs to swallow it. And the first thing he's going to do, the two people start talking. You'll see this show. Russ knows. Everybody's seen this one a million times. Dude starts eating the candy bar and inevitably you're going to hear the B word, right? This dude's going to call this woman a bitch and he's going to do it loud. And the cop's going to walk over and go, hey, bro, you can't talk to your girl like that, man. Well, she's being up. He's going to say it again. Say that one more time and you're out of here. And he will. He'll say it again. And the reason is because in about 40 minutes, that stuff's going to be too late to vomit. And the boys are in there waiting. They're in there doing this one with a bunch of money, right? So they don't want to have to wait 2 days for this to come out. They lose their sense of humor about things like that. So he's got to get in a fight with his girlfriend, right, at the very beginning of that visit. Or he's got to leave that candy bar to the end. But if he does, the fellas are going to be waiting on a 4-hour visit with no dope, and they're not going to have much of a sense of humor about the time this guy comes back. And those were What's that?
They stopped selling M&Ms and Skittles in the machines and the visiting.
Yeah,
Because,
exactly. Because they were
yeah,
so easy to get. You drop the balloons right into the
yep,
bag of M&Ms and Skittles, and then it just
hmm
shake them right down.
yep.
Question: how long did it take for you to feel comfortable, or at least more sure of yourself, with the lifestyle inside? It's a great
Wow.
question.
Yeah.
That is a great freaking question. Honestly,
I
go
don't
ahead,
think
Russ.
I don't ever think I got comfortable. That's when you get complacent, that's when something can happen. You can get settled, but I don't know about comfortable because anything can happen at any time.
Yeah,
So,
I I absolutely never got comfortable. And I don't
yeah.
know, I don't even know that it was a watching my back kind of thing, although I had to.
Hmm.
I was at a high custody level and I got into fights. There's no not getting into fights. You know what I mean? Like, and
Right.
some of them my fault. Like I drank 2 honey bears one night and I called the entire day room punks.
Uh,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm not kidding you, dude. I'm not kidding you at all. I had a homeboy at the time. He's the guy that ended up taking over the entire yard, right? And he's looking out
Mhm.
thinking, you know what, rocks off this yard. These guys are going to kill me. He's called like 25 people a punk, right? I was just wasted. So he did what any really good friend in the same situation would do. He punched me as hard as he could in the head. I mean, he cold jacked me in the head. Like he figured if I start beating on him, maybe I can drag him in the cell and no one else will. And that's just what he did. He gave me about 3 shots. And as soon as we got in there and the door shut, like his cellmate threw a curtain over, and we sat in there for a little while. And every 20 or 30 seconds, he'd kick a locker, or, we put on a
Right.
really decent show. I mean, it hurt. He hit me pretty hard. But when I woke up in the morning, I was like, how did I get this? He's like, are you whooping me? He's like, you dumb SOB, dude. You made such a jackass. You're not drinking anymore. The white boys actually had
Wow.
to take me. Dude, I was in my 40s. The white boys had to take me aside and go, you can't drink anymore, Ryan.
Yeah, you're cut off.
What? You cut off. You can't drink anymore. You acted like a fool. I'm like, oh,
Right.
man, get your rest. The honey bear. It's literally a honey bear. And it's full of grain alcohol, right? We
Uh-huh.
make it's moonshine. That's all it is. It's moonshine.
Moonshine.
And
Yep.
you fill up what the honey came in. You sell them by the honey bear. It's a pint. $25 in the feds for a honey bear.
I saw my celly, obviously, you had the keys. There was a guy that came in that I think I told you about this, not online. His name was Tree because he was like 6'7",
Yep.
6'8".
Yep.
I mean he was doing the H in there. Well,
Yeah.
my celly wasn't getting what he was supposed to get and went in there. They called him Tree, but when my celly got done, they called him Raccoon because both his eyes were
Yeah.
black. So
I
yeah, it's
watched
stuff like that.
at Victorville. There was a guy on the yard, and Victorville was a stone cold killer yard. Like this was, and this was after I had left the USP. I was at the FCI, and it was. I mean, this was really on and cracking. It really was. This yard was vicious, and there was dope all over it. It was just one of those places that was honest to God, frightening with the amount of violence, the amount of dope, and all of that. But my homeboy took over that yard, and Wonder Woman, I would say for probably 90 to 100 days, I probably lived like I was comfortable. I probably
Right.
did because I lived right next door to the shot caller, and I had basically an unlimited amount of free dope. So for that time, I didn't have to do. I would just get wasted and lay in bed, which you're not allowed to do as a white boy. But the shot caller lived right next door, and I honestly could do just about anything I wanted. I had gotten him high for about 9 months on my dollar, and I was running out of cash fast. And I was running out of
Right.
cash fast. And they made him the shot caller for the whole yard. And he just came walking. He gave me a big hug and a kiss on the cheek. And I was like, what are you doing, you friggin' weirdo? And he goes, man, they gave me the yard. He's like, this whole yard's mine. We never have to pay for dope again. Thank God I got stabbed. For real, dude. For real. If I didn't get stabbed, I would not be here now, man.
You
One
would have.
errant stabbing. That was a miracle, bro. That was a miracle. You know
I
what?
just saw. I saw a question. Who
SJ,
was that?
you can my town. I like you. I think you're excellent. How is prison life different now? I'm not in
Right.
it. It
Right.
hasn't
Exactly.
changed. It hasn't changed a lick. I promise you. I talk to Q every day. He's on the
Hmm.
same yard he was on when I left him. It hasn't changed a lick. We even talk about the same people at work. He's still working with the same. I mean, there were 9 lifers in Unicor when I was there. I think 7 of those 9 are still there.
Wow.
So not much changes, man. Not much changes. The names, right? The numbers go up. The
Right.
4 numbers are now 8 numbers or 9 numbers.
Yeah, I think I was part of the Pepsi generation.
Yeah.
That's what the old timers used to call us when I first went in. You
Yep.
Pepsi generation need to calm down, and we would just be full of piss and vinegar and ready to
Listen,
go. You
yep.
know, we're like land
Gladiator
sharks.
school.
Yep.
Mess up the yard. Nothing like about 5 20-year-olds to just screw a
Yep.
yard up instantly. I'm serious.
Yep.
You remember the bus would come in and you get like 9 youngsters come in on the bus and you'd have to roll up on them deep. Be like, man, we got a
Hmm.
mellow yard. You come in here looking for anything stupid, bro. I will stomp you out like a brush fire. You're gonna keep this thing mellow. I got a poker table making money. The dope's coming in. You're gonna lay
Yeah.
down. Never happens. Okay, question. What percentage of men are gay for the stay or on the down low? My ex would never admit it, but I think he was. So if I were to put a number on that, I would say that in the feds, I saw in 10 years, I saw 4 dudes who definitely were in relationships. I mean, 4 relationships. I don't mean 4 individuals. I saw 4 DL relationships while I was in there. And in every one of those situations, there was something that made it special. That was why they got away with it. Like once it was a shot caller that had a punk, that had
Hmm.
a girlfriend. That was one of them. And what are you going to say to the shot caller? You can't do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and the old timers, that was considered like really old timers. Everybody had a punk. Like that's just not cool anymore.
Ah,
But there are definitely guys that do that in there. I don't. It's if they're on the DL, they're so on the DL because if it gets out, you're getting stabbed. At least in
yeah.
the white car. In other cars, you'll see it
Right.
flamingly.
Yes. In the other cars, you see it. I
Yeah.
probably saw 4 um, black guys that had relationships with other ones, and they were full blown, like Kool-Aid on the lips and
Yep, absolutely.
all that.
Fishnet stockings made
Uh-huh.
out of the bags that for your laundry bags. They'll make
Yep.
fishnet stockings. I
Yep.
am not kidding you.
Nope.
No, that's rampant. Absolutely. But among the white boys, it's just not allowed at all. Question: if an inmate complains to journalists, etc., about the conditions, will he be a target? Yes. Yep, he absolutely will. He'll get shipped off that yard so fast, and they will find a reason to ship him. They're not going to just
Yep.
go in there and say, "You wrote a letter to so and so." They'll just go throw a friggin' knife somewhere in your cell.
Yep.
Promise you. If you put yourself out there like that, they're going to
Uh-huh.
find dope in your cell. They're going to find blades on you. I watched at the special management unit, and to be honest, the guy was messing with me. Right? I was running a sports book, so I'm at the door and I'm calling out the lines for the day. So I'm like, and on the 9 o'clock game, Jets +7. And this guy they called Mad Dog would just start screaming out other numbers, right? He'd be like,
Right.
Jets -11. And he's making everybody in the hall real angry, right? This is a
Hmm.
full lockdown unit. So you can't get at him, you can't do anything. And he was making the place angry. And the cops just came up and said, hey, man, stop yelling and stop kicking at the door. And he started kicking at the door more. And they took him out and beat the piss out of him. And as they were walking him back to go into his cell, he spit at a cop. And we're all at the windows, we're all looking down
Oh.
this long hall. And he hawked one up right on the cop. And the cop just looked casually over at his partner and he was like, go get a bone crusher and throw it underneath
Yep.
his mattress. He's like, get me the biggest bone crusher you got in evidence. Bring it up here and throw it under his mattress. This boy's about to get some more time. I mean, he
Yep.
put it out there for the world to hear. But that was
Yep.
also Lewisburg.
I saw a question right here too. Darush or Drush. What age group are considered old prisoners? Yeah.
What age group is considered old prisoners? In the
I mean,
feds, usually around 60, was where
uh-huh.
we start calling people pops. But anything over 50, you're usually considered, you better stop
Right.
respect. It's not like you can't fight them, but you better treat them with a different level of respect, because respect is a big
Right.
thing.
50 and older is where it's at. I mean, youngsters are below 50. If above 50, you don't mess with. They are considered retired, or they hold the keys. One of the two.
Every single time I ever got busted by a CO, he tasted the wine in front of me. They taste it, I'm out of liquid because I show you how to do it. But you take the wine in your mouth and you kind of do like an inverted bong hit with it. You put the liquid in your mouth, you go, because that bubbling will, when you do that, if the wine's done, the gas coming off that will choke you, right? And it's how you know that this stuff. So when a guy goes to sell it to you, you go, and if you can do that for 10 seconds without it taking your breath away, you don't buy it, right? But the cops will do that, because if there's not enough alcohol in it, there's no point in charging you. Because what are they going to charge you with? Grape juice? Like you got to prove it fermented. So usually the cops will taste it just to see if it's fermented, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if it
you ever
is,
have a bag open? You had a bag open up before, blow up, didn't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. So many times. Yeah, mm-hmm. I had one destroy a metal locker. Literally blow the side out of it like ballpark franks. They plump when you cook them. I had the bag in there and I had it tied up tight as hell, and it just kept getting bigger. And I heard like the biggest noise. We were like, "What the hell is that?" And everyone's looking around thinking it was a fight. When I went in my locker, the rivets had popped off the side of the locker. It had dented the whole thing out. Question: where does a child killer rank? Right above one that does something to a child for gratification sexually. Right above that, but not much. They're both scumbags, and you're not going to do well. You're not going to.
They are greenlit. They are.
Yeah, they're greenlit. Kids are considered basically untouchable. If the crime has something to do with a kid, you're in trouble.
Their names are in a hat, and they are green to be hit.
That's it. I mean, that's really how it goes down. And any race can hit them. Normally, you have to get permission to hurt somebody. You understand?
Right.
That's the shot collar concept in prison. To keep everything on an even keel, to keep the prison themselves from being angry at us, we all kind of keep things. Now, you know what? This is a really good question. You know what? This is going to sound racist, and people are going to get angry at me, but I'm going to answer this anyway. We're getting on the top of the hour, but this is what I have to do. Okay, here we go. Question: where does someone, if they hurt a pregnant woman? Well, if they're in the white car, that's a serious problem. Yeah. If they're not, it's not. The guy that played for the Carolina Panthers, Ray Caruth, hired a hitman to kill his wife while she was pregnant. They shot the child as well, who was born with serious developmental problems. It's a horrific story, and he walks a yard like there's nothing to it. Right? He has been stabbed on that yard twice, but he walks general population. He's not in PC, nothing like that. Now, there's nobody with the same story that's white and not in PC. And I'm not bragging about this. This is a fact. It's just what it is. Those are facts. Native Americans, vicious. They would not allow any of that crap either. There are some cars that just police things very differently than others. Do you find the same in the state?
Yep. That is it right there. I mean, it is just like that. Well, the white car
tend to have the attitude that I'm doing my time. I don't care what you did. Your time is your time. I don't care what you did. It's got nothing to do with me. Honestly, I get that. I respect where they're coming from. I really do. But it's just not how it works with the white boys. I didn't create it, but I sure as hell wasn't going to try to change it.
Right.
You know? That hasn't worked out well for anybody that's tried up to this point.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
No.
Many have tried. No one has been successful. I didn't see myself as a pioneering convict. I would just sort of maybe fall into line and
Can we all hug it out? No. That ain't gonna happen.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Jennifer. I had an opportunity to go after somebody that I knew had hurt a child. It happened once in my prison career. It was when I was asked to put in work. They asked me to put in work on a guy because I said to them, I'm not hitting somebody because of a poker debt. I'm not hitting somebody because of a gang debt. You handle your business. You say you got work. Okay, then find me somebody that did something to a kid, or find me a rat, and I'll take care of either of those. And it wasn't but about 40 minutes later, the guy came back and goes, if I got a gift for you, not only did this guy mess with a kid, he's Italian, and he's been on the yard hiding for a real long time. And I said, all right. And I stabbed him. And that's what I was told to do. I went in there and I did it.
I've only had to do that a couple of times. Well, 3 times I've had to do that. That's because I'm the one that found. Yeah, I'm the one that found out about it, so I'm the one that dealt with it.
Handle it. You handle it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's usually how that goes down. And you were probably not bummed out about doing it either. Keep it real.
No,
you were probably pretty fired up about doing it. I was
pretty happy because I got away with
you get in
3 times. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
If I could have done more, I would have. But
yeah, I did. I remember them at the door going, "Rock, come on. We're done.
Right.
And I figured I wanted to put on such a show that they were afraid to ask me the next time. Like, I'm not even being funny. So, and I'm not trying to bum anybody out, but this thing got in there and kind of got stuck. So I couldn't get it out from his ribs. So I started trying to just sort of
break it off
there a little further.
Yeah.
No, I actually ended up leaving it. I couldn't get it out, period. I ended up having to leave it. So, which isn't the most professional thing, but I ended up having to leave it in there with him. But I never got asked again. The next time they brought something up, they're like, we got work we got to do. We were having a little white boy meeting in the morning, and I'm like, I'll do it. And they're like, no, we're good. We're good. We got some people who want some ink. You can take a seat.
Tommy the torpedo.
I didn't want to be. I was old when I got there, and I knew the guy too. I was like, you're really going to make me do this, bro? You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, I know you. None of these guys know you, man. He's like, they're not going to take my word. As shot caller, I kind of figured they would have taken his word, but I didn't give a hell. I mean, they sent you with like 3 guys anyway. Like, if this dude turned out to be Bobby Badass, and he wasn't, but if he turned out to be a tough guy and came at me or whatever, 3 white guys, all big corn-fed peckerwoods, are going to come storming in there and kill him. When you put work in, you got an army of guys standing behind you to make sure that you're not faking what you said you were going to do, and they got your back.
Yep.
And I stabbed another guy, but we made a deal. Like, he was a friend of mine. I got sent to stab him because he was a friend of mine. You done it. Don't tell me you haven't. You've done the BS stab, you liar.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's done the BS stab. Where do you want it? Right here, dude. Don't hit anything, man. Don't hit anything. I'm not going to hit anything. On 3. Ready? 1. What's happening?
Oh, yeah.
You said
I'm dying.
Yeah, but you were going to move. I straight up stabbed my best friend like that.
Let me do it again. I didn't get it.
Yeah, his last name was Doolin. I stuck him like that. I was like, yeah, ready? Lean in. He's like,
there's only one person.
Come on. I'm like, hey, if it ain't me, it's somebody else, bro.
Yeah.
But
there's only one person I feel bad for, that one, but I only felt bad for him while he was flying through the air, but I didn't care about anything else because he was 60, 65. Yeah.
We were good.
Yeah, he's 65 and he was a child molester. So
there was one in the federal system. I'll give you an idea of the cops, because this question comes up a lot. There was a guy that he was in the special management unit, and one side of his face was completely black, like the Star Trek episode. Like, one half of his face was just tattooed out black. And I said to the cop, I'm like, why in the name of God would you do that? Like, why would you just cover half of your face? And he goes, because it said baby raper, and they thought this was the cover up. I was like, oh no. He goes, yeah, he's one of those. So when we got out to where we were going for the second phase of the smooth, this dude gets off the bus.
Right.
So when we went rolling in, I said to the guy, hey, this dude right here, his paperwork sucks. He's got bad paperwork. And the guy's like, all right, you need to prove this. And one of the wizards was like, look, dude, just go get his number off the door. He's like, I can pull this crap off the computer. And he was bad. And they got him. But the guards let that happen. Tommy, no consequences for putting work in? Oh, I didn't finish that story, did I? So when that was over, there was one camera that had been disabled with paint, right? Because they knew this hit was coming. So you see me. You just don't see me for there's like a dead spot. So you don't see me go in his cell, but I'm the last person to walk by. So when I went to breakfast, the captain, who's second in command on the yard, came up and he was like, hey, Tommy. I was like, what's up? And he goes, somebody got stabbed in your unit today. I was like, no shit, who got stabbed? And he tells me the guy's name. I was like, well, what was that about? And he goes, turns out he's a kid toucher. I'm like, well, maybe he shouldn't touch kids. And he goes, I really had the same feeling. That's just what he said to me. He goes, I had the exact same feeling. He goes, but if you think I'm not going to investigate this because the guy's a weirdo, you're crazy. He goes, I'm going to work until about 10:30. See if we can't get this thing solved. I said, well, best of luck, boss. He goes, all right. And then I saw him at lunch and I go, hey, Cap, any luck? He goes, no, we'll try harder next time. I said, okay. I mean, they'd know there was no consequence. If I did it in the day room, I'd have been crucified. But if you can hide it, the cops want those guys hurt. They just don't want you doing it in the day room. They don't want it filmed, right? If you can figure out a way to hurt someone that hurt a kid, the cops ain't gonna care. I promise.
Nope. They will drag their feet. Literally.
They will drag their feet to beat crap. He was he was leaking, Tony. I mean, I went all the way in him. He was definitely leaking. I'm sorry, leader. This is all this. You're on night yard, leader. This is the time where we are asked about this kind of stuff. It's weird talk to be sure, but this is night yard. It is what we talk about. And we went about 11 minutes over. I don't think that's going to really. I don't think that's going to tear up the algo too hard. The COs do beat the crap out of kid touchers. I'm not going to lie to you. The COs make it hard on them. Here's the thing. Would you? If you were in prison and you had the ability to hurt someone that hurt a kid, would you probably treat them a little differently? Okay. Now imagine having ultimate authority over them.
Right.
Yeah, trust me, they're not treating them good. They don't like them any more than we do. Question. Apparently, they might bring back Fire Squad because the drugs are hard to get. Opinions. You know something? I think the firing squad is probably humane. But with the amount of fentanyl that we have, why don't we just kill them with fentanyl? For real.
There we
it's
go.
A super humane way to kill somebody. You want to kill somebody, give them a big shot of fentanyl. And we got tons of it, right? Tons of it. We're seizing 28 tons a year now. I think we should probably use that. That's my opinion.
Start using it.
Yeah.
Castration and fentanyl.
Wow.
Was that Oregon State Prison?
Who the hell are these people, Huckleberry? And you said this is in
OSP? I don't know. I think it's Oregon or Oklahoma. Oregon
State Prison. Do you know what's crazy? Okay, so if it very often, like when I went to California in the feds, it was very California. Like those yards were run like it was California. When I was in Arizona, it was very similar politics. That being said, Oklahoma doesn't put up with stuff like that. For real. That's not a state that I think he's lying. He's got a lawyer that put some really great paperwork up to cover his ass. I mean, sometimes you can absolutely hide out with good paperwork. You get some bulletproof fake paperwork, guys hide out that way. I don't think it would be a nice way to live. Someone's going to out you someday. But
yeah,
for him to say, oh, I tell everybody on the yard I killed the baby, they don't care. There's no friggin' truth to that. Never any place I've ever done that. That would get you killed.
He might just say he's murder, mom in for murder, but no details. You know what I mean?
This really depends. It really depends on a lot of things. So when a person comes walking in, the first thing that happens when they walk in is they're going to be met by a rep from their car, a white guy, a black guy, a Mexican guy, whatever. He's going to walk up and he's going to go, hey, what's up, Wood? Where are you from? And the guy's going to go, I'm from Arkansas. Arkansas? Okay, cool. There's a dude in cell 27, calls himself Arkansas. He can hook you up with everybody there, the whole Arkansas. We got a big car here, or I'm from Vegas. We got a Nevada car. When you go to the chow hall, if the Nevada car is not right there for you to hand this guy off to, you kind of babysit him until he gets to the chow hall, right? And you say, so look, when we hit for lunch, just grab me. I'll walk you down to the chow hall, pass you off to your boys. Those guys are going to say, here's your stuff, right? You get your free things, all of this stuff. They take care of him. Before that happens, we're going to say, your paperwork's good, right? This isn't going to come back that you got messed up paperwork. What are you in prison for? Drug dealing. Didn't tell anybody? No. How much time did you get? He tells you, go. You got 8 days, 9 days to get your paperwork mailed in. Can you get that done? Yeah, okay. You got 9 days. And they do. They got 9 days. Now, if we feel sketchy about the dude, we're going to run him through Pacer that night.
Yep.
Right? We'll make a phone call and we'll run him through Pacer that night. And that lulls these guys to sleep. They think they got 8 days. They come down the next day to get coffee and someone hits them in the head with a lock, right? Drags them in the cell, beats the crap out of them. This happens every time a bus shows up. Every time a bus shows up. Usually, if you're at someplace like Victorville or you're at one of the tougher, you're at Pelican Bay or one of those yards, guys are doing what they can to like check in before they get inside the building.
Yeah.
But the ones that get into general pop, every once in a while, some idiot will try to get in there.
Yep.
Tribes.
Usually,
sure, Mary. What's that?
Usually from the counties, like in Orange County, you'll come in, you'll have a colored band on. Yeah. You'll have yellow, red, white, or blue. Blue is PC. If you can't take it off. So you have to, and you're riding with a bunch of guys on a bus are coming from that county that know you got a blue band on. You're hit.
That's it.
Yeah. And
same stuff in the feds. So you're in county jail getting ready to leave, right? And they bring everybody down to change out. And you're putting on what you got arrested in. You've been wearing jail clothes all the whole time you've been there. Now you're going to put on whatever you got arrested in, which you're going to wear to the feds, right? The feds will process you, throw that clothing out or mail it home, whatever, if you want to pay for it. Throw that clothing out, and then you're going to, put on your clothes for the rest of your duration. But when you all come down to change out, like I remember distinctly my first time going to the feds, they bring a dude in, he's wearing baby blue. And I looked at the dude next to me, I'm like, man, I never saw a unit with baby blue. And he goes, I hope not. He's like, I hope you didn't. He's like, that dude's in protective custody. Well, now he gets on the bus with us, right? He's wearing an Adidas sweatshirt. It doesn't matter what he's wearing.
Right.
You get to the next spot, they're going to go, that dude was wearing baby blue when we left.
Yep. They're going to know. Now,
PC is protective custody. Yeah, protective custody. Which, by the way, it's a funny expression because people actually believe it means something, and it doesn't mean much of anything. All righty, Russ, we need to do this again.
Yes, we do.
This a little long. People, I'm sorry about all of the stuff, but it was outside of my control. This was cable related.
All good.
Thanks for, this is a true story, people. I got 650 people that reached out to tell me that they hope I was feeling better and things like that through all of the different ways that you people can contact me. I was absolutely astounded. You're great. You guys are the best. I appreciate it, but I feel good. So I'm going to be back tomorrow morning for normal lifeboat stuff. Russ, we're going to do a midweek yard.
Okay.
Because there's a specific subject matter I want to talk to you about, but I will text it to you so you can look it over beforehand. This was fun.
That'll work.
I dig this. And you know what, people? You know what? This is going to run smoother. And do you know why? Because I'm not going to trust myself to do it. The cat's not in the basket, but on the other side of the glass, I got my boy. Spanky, where you at?
Thanks, Spank.
Spanks, God bless. I will see you, or I'll talk to you later. I love you, kid.
Love
That's
you.
My boy. That is my boy. All right, people, we will be on tomorrow morning. Russ, thanks so much. I appreciate you. And to all of you, between now and tomorrow morning, reach out and try to save somebody, huh? All right. Much love. Bye-bye. Thanks, Russ.
Peace.